Good hello and good morning, friends. It is 7 a.m. on Saturday, and today I'm going to be reading for 24 hours. So as you guys saw from that first little montage of morning clips, I'll be reading from 6 a.m. to 6 a.m. Saturday the 15th until Sunday the 16th. And this is because my sweet friend Amanda roped me into doing this with her. She didn't rope me into doing it, but I have a free Saturday. I'm not doing anything crazy other than going to the gym, which will take maximum 2 hours of my day, with an hour of that being, the birds are chirping so aggressively right now, with an hour of that being commuting and the other hour being working, getting in my car, driving to the gym, listening to my audiobooks, getting dressed at the gym, working out, getting dressed, coming back. You know what I mean? Like, it'll take like roughly like an hour and a half to 2 hours, which is fine. I don't mind losing an hour to work out. Besides the point, today should be a really fun day of reading, and let me talk you through some of my reading plans. So as you guys saw, I am currently listening to If I'm Being Honest by Emily Wibberley and Austin Sigmund Broca. It's a super fun, I wouldn't say fun just yet. It's a funny YA book where it's so painfully YA right now, and I can see where this is going. It's going to be this journey of self-discovery, and she's going to be a better person. She's not going to be this mean girl. It's just like so YA that I think it's the perfect fluff for in between some of the other books that I want to read. The next book that I have on deck is The Last Word by Katie Birchall. I have an ARC of this and I'm super excited to read it because it sells itself as beach read meets The Hating Game. And those are two of my favorite books. So I'm very curious as to how these characters are gonna do their thing. I'm in this weird phase right now where I'm reading a lot of like celebrity entertainment romances. I just keep happening to pick up books that have that as one of the main themes, as like the basis of the overarching story. So I'm not mad at it. I just think it's funny. And the next two books are books that I am almost 100% sure I'll be able to read. The next one is The Next Person That You Meet in Heaven by Mitch Albom. This is the sequel to The 5 People You Meet in Heaven, which I read as a sophomore in college, I think. Maybe even before that. And I loved it. I was crying my eyes out. It was super emotional. It was very philosophical. I never ended up picking this up. I bought this book, I literally have the receipt, in 2018 from the Barnes & Noble that I will probably end up going to today at some point as well. And it's super short. The text is giant. Like this is like my iPad and this is the book. For even better of a comparison, my phone. This is the book. Like, it should be way larger, but it's not. So I think this will be a quick read. This will probably take me like 2 hours tops to read, and I can knock another physical book off my list. And the last physical book that I have on deck is Snow Falling by Jane Gloriana Villanueva. This is the novella that is written in Jane the Virgin. I've had this book since I finished Jane the Virgin, and I never got around to reading the book. My Jane the Virgin phase was very intense and I enjoyed it so much. So I'm really excited to read this. I also have the audiobook of this through my library, so I'll probably switch formats, or like read and listen, or you know, like eat breakfast and like listen to this instead of what's the name of that other book that I was listening to? If I'm Being Honest. So I have a pretty jam-packed reading plan for the next 24 hours, and I think I can do it. I will say I am primarily going to hold The Last Word to the evening time / into like midnight, because I'm not gonna want my light on at like 2 o'clock in the morning, 11 p.m. Like, I just don't want the light on. So I'm just gonna read off my iPad because I think that'll, I don't know, it'll keep me awake. I'm going to see just how long I can stay awake today. I don't have plans until 3 p.m. tomorrow. So if I end up going to bed at like 6 a.m. and sleep until like 2, that's still like a pretty solid sleep, you know? Like 8 hours is still pretty good sleep. So we'll see. I might just throw off my sleep for a day, but that's fine. That's what 24-hour readathons are all about. So that's enough of a long-winded update. I'm going to go ahead and keep listening to If I'm Being Honest, because I started this yesterday and I figured that it would just be like super easy to fly through. I usually listen to my audiobooks at 2.3 times speed, just because like otherwise it's too slow. I don't know, it's very weird. So I'm gonna get up. You guys already saw I made myself some coffee, but I made coffee It's good coffee. It's very good coffee. And I slept really good last night too. And like my body's feeling very recovered. So with all of that being said, I'm gonna go get something to eat. I'll probably just make some like oats and add some berries to it. And then we'll just keep reading. We'll keep trucking along. We've got a good TBR. I also want to go to the bookstore today. I also want to go to the library today, but we're probably only gonna go to the bookstore. When I think about it, it should probably be the other way around, so I'm not spending money, but like I had a rough week and I deserve a good book. So from those clips you can see I just rearranged my bookshelves. I put my diplomas and the Legos back up top. I moved all of the books and the things that were on the top underneath my bed because they're books I want to unhaul anyway, so it's not like it matters, which leaves me with very large gaps in my bookshelves. This shelf now has kind of become the contemporary shelf. This is the like mixed nonfiction fiction with like some fantasy, this is the miscellaneous shelf is what I'm gonna call it. This is primarily fantasy with some like sci-fi and some of the random nonfiction slotted in here. I just don't know, I don't want to move those just yet because I feel like I'm gonna lose them in terms of like looking for them on my shelves. Those are books that I definitely want to read soon. This is generally the same with all of my like big hardbacks sitting here, and like there are books that are gonna go here. Amanda knows what I'm talking about. Same deal up here. I need to get the sequel to These Violent Delights. Should probably put these in order, but same deal, more hardbacks. Like I'm gonna keep this up here because it kind of just looks nice with the whites. So that leaves me with tons of space here, some wiggle room down here, but the most in my contemporary. I totally was not anticipating reorganizing my shelves, but I figured I would since like I'm already awake, I'm already doing stuff, I've already eaten breakfast, my audiobook is going really well. I am now 41% of the way through the book. It's been really interesting. So our main mean girl is really learning about different friend groups, about different like cultures on campus, and she's standing up for these people and she's becoming just a better person and falling for somebody that I don't think she would have ever noticed before. If I'm gonna be 100% honest, I can't remember what our main character's name is. I only remember a lot of the secondary characters' names, solely because the book is written in first person, so she refers to herself as I so much that like if you're not like paying attention, like kind of paying attention, kind of not, I don't know what our main character's name is. But her friends, Paige, who is the unexpected person that she is originally using to get to the boy that she likes, and Paige's brother Brendan are becoming this like trio that we never expected, and it's a lot of fun and it's super sweet. And like I said, it's your typical mean girl really changing her ways. And I don't know what to say about this book other than like, it's fun. I'm enjoying it. It's not like mind-blowing, but I'm enjoying seeing the growth in our main character. So I think that's the thing that's really selling it for me right now. If I'm already, it is only 8 a.m. There's my sweet boy on my background. It's only 8 a.m. okay? And I am 50% of the way through one book. 2 hours in, I think I can finish this book in the next hour. So yeah, this is cool. This is awesome. I'm 24 hours of reading. Like I feel like, I don't know if you guys have seen those TikToks where it's like nurses after their 12-hour shift. It's like, this is me before my 24-hour readathon. And then once we get back to after the 24 hours, it'll be rough. So I'm totally gonna vlog on a walk because all of these cars are gonna drive past me. I'm never gonna see them again. It doesn't really matter. But I have just bought 6 books. 4 brand new, 2 from the used bookstore. I'm on a walk as they are as they're working on my car right now. And it is just the like most beautiful day out. The sun is shining, the birds are chirping. It's like a perfect Southern California day. Like just, it's so freaking pretty out and I look crazy holding a camera, but I really don't care. It's bringing me a lot of joy. Like the Amazon driver just almost caused an accident right behind me, and I thought that was hilarious because he was more focused looking at me filming than he was on the road. And normally I don't like film in public because it's strange, but like I'm just solo on a walk right now. Nobody can judge me. Nobody. I don't care. There's an airplane. I don't live too far away from an airport, so it kind of makes sense. But I'm having a good day and I hope we can keep this momentum up. I'm gonna put my camera down and I'm gonna focus on walking. All right, friends, so as you saw, we went on quite the excursion today. Around 10 o'clock, I went to go take my car to the shop, but first I decided I was gonna go to Barnes & Noble. And then I was told by my father that the shop closes at noon, so I needed to be there by 11. So I was rushed as I was perusing the bookstore. However, I do think I got some great books from Barnes & Noble. I also renewed my membership and I got this super cute blue tote, which actually kind of came in clutch today, and you'll see why. So the first book I got is book 4 in the Bone Season saga, is what I'm gonna call it, The Mask Falling. As you guys know, I'm reading the Bone Season right now. I'm looking at the Song Rising on my shelf and I am super pumped to get into this. However, I'm now realizing that these aren't matching covers. This is black with white writing. The rest I have to look into this. I'll look into this. But The Mask Falling, I actually think I ordered the wrong, or I got the wrong one. I think The Mask Falling is like blue or something. So they're not going to be perfectly matching, but it doesn't really matter because this is the the second half of the rest of the saga. So as long as these are matching, I'm fine with that. So that's one of the books that I got. The next is Once Upon a Broken Heart by Stephanie Garber. This is the Caraval spinoff, the Barnes & Noble exclusive edition. It's super pink, super freaking pretty. Oh my god. And they only had it in paperback, which I found strange, but like it's fine, I'll deal with it. I don't mind a good old floppy paperback, but now it's like they won't match Caraval. So whatever, it's fine. They're pretty, they're pink, that's all I care about. The next is a book that Amanda has yelled at me to read, to buy, and quite frankly, like, it was gonna happen. I bought Book Lovers and I'm so excited to read it. I ideally want to read this before Happy Place comes out in a couple weeks. In like 2 weeks, I think it is. So I have 2 weeks to read Book Lovers and I definitely think it's gonna happen. And I'm going to run to the bookstore and I'm going to get Happy Place as soon as it comes out because she deserves that. And finally is a book that I don't think anybody would have expected me to buy. Hell, I didn't even expect to buy this, but I've been seeing it all over TikTok. It was on the Book Talk shelf at Barnes & Noble. Am I really, I don't want to say upset, but am I shocked that I bought The Fine Print by Lauren Asher? Shocked that I bought it? Yes. Shocked that I'm going to read it? No. So I bought book 1, and if I hate it, I'll get rid of it. Whatever. But I don't think I'm gonna hate it. I think I'm really gonna enjoy it, and I'm gonna want to buy books 2 and 3. And I am okay with that. Moving on. As you guys also saw, I went to my favorite used bookstore and I got some steals. I got some steals. So the first one is Recursion by Blake Crouch. I have been wanting to read Blake Crouch's writing for quite some time, but I never wanted to pay full price and it was never available at my library. There was always like a stupid hold on it or like for some reason never came through. I bought this book for $4.50. $4.50 for this and awesome. I love that. But this next one is the one I'm particularly proud of. It's one that I was not expecting my used bookstore to have. And that's Black Leopard, Red Wolf by Marlon James. I cannot believe the shape that this book is in. They also do the library, like, I don't know what this is called, like fold to make sure that the book preserves that, and I'm okay with this for now. If it like bothers me and like the sound is too crinkly and it reminds me of my library books too much, I might just take it off. But I bought this for $10. Like, it's in perfect condition. She is beautifully heavy. Like, I am so happy with this buy. my haul consists of fiction, fantasy, romance, sci-fi. This is a stack of books that I have very high hopes for. I am excited about all of these books, and I am just so pumped that I have the space and the funds and the ability to make this happen, because that was the boost of serotonin that I have been needing after such a rough week. It was great. It was a great feeling, and I am super happy. With all that out of the way, I am now 90% through, if I'm being honest. It's 12:35, so I've been awake and reading for 6 hours. Granted, doing other stuff too, but I like want to kind of pick up the pace because I should have had this book read like an hour and a half ago. After this, I'm going to jump into The 5 People, or The Next Person You Meet in Heaven by Mitch Albom. I'm going to organize my books now, my hauled books on my shelf. I'm going to listen to the audiobook. I'm going to eat my yogurt, and then I'm sure my day will get interrupted again. So here we are. It is 10 till 5, and since I have last updated, I finished a book, had dinner, and started my second, I'm holding up 3, so I want to say third, second book of the 24-hour period. So I finished, if I'm being honest, I gave it like a 3.75 4-star. The reason for this rating: it's a lot of fun reading a book that's YA, that feels hopeful, that shows growth, but it's also really annoying reading a YA because you're reading in the voice of a child. These children tend to be whiny and annoying, but it is what it is. I overall really love the growth in Cameron, our main character, whose name I finally learned now that she's not being a brat. I loved her relationship with Paige, with Brendan, but I especially loved her relationship with her mom. I think it was really special to see how that grew and why it grew. Granted, I would never pick this book up physically, and I'm really glad that I read it as an audiobook, but I'm glad it's over. It's done. It was fun, and now I can say I've read one book in this 24-hour period, which is awesome. And now I've started my second, The Next Person You Meet in Heaven, which is kind of a continuation to, oh, it is a sequel to The 5 People You Meet in Heaven. I also loved Mitch Albom's Tuesdays with Morrie. That book made me sob. I haven't read it in years, and I definitely need to, because it was just chef's kiss. It was so good. The one thing I hate about these books is the deckled edges. I hate deckled edges personally. I don't, it gets annoying when you want to like you can't properly flip through because it's just like chunks of the book. I'm going to get to reading. I think Amanda and I are going to do some reading sprints soon together. And I also have my new favorite shirt on. It says hotter than a hoochie coochie, which if you listen to country music, you know exactly what this shirt means. And if you don't, then I'm sorry. But it's just like a little muscle tee that I bought from Amazon because I just felt like I needed it. I was shopping for Stagecoach outfits, which the shirt that I am actually going to wear to Stagecoach is here. I just have to try it on, and I've been nervous too. And this was kind of like my joking failsafe. I'm not actually going to wear this to Stagecoach. I have to wear something much nicer. But besides the point, it is hotter than a hoochie coochie outside. I have had 2 cups of coffee today, and I have my Rain Orange Creamsicle energy drink on deck ready to go. Like I said, it is now 5 till 5, and we're getting close to the 12-hour mark, and I would like to finish The Next Person You Meet in Heaven maybe by like 7 p.m. I think that'd be a really good accomplishment, and then I can switch gears to half audio, half physical. Who knows? Who knows? I want to read this book. It's been years. So I'm gonna put the camera down, and we're gonna get to actually reading. Total headset on because I'm on Zoom with Amanda right now, and I explained this to her, but I was like, I totally should have filmed that. So I'm listening to snow falling and not like super following along in the book. I like did my nails in the last sprint, or I did my nails in like 2 sprints ago, and then I just did some bullet journaling in this past one. So I've read 22%, or I've listened to 22% with 2 25-minute sprints. So that means I need 4 hours to finish the book. I've already read an hour of it, so now if I can stay awake for 3 more hours, then I'll finish the book and I will feel complete in terms of this readathon. So what I'm gonna do is try to finish this book, power through, see how I feel at around 1 o'clock, because it's 10 now, it's 10 p.m. now. See how I feel around 1, and then from there, I'll decide if I'm gonna go to sleep or if I'm gonna stay up for a little bit longer and continue reading the last word, which is that arc that I have. I don't know, I'm getting to a point where I'm like struggling a little bit, because, you know, it's bedtime, but power through we shall. It is nearly 1 a.m. It's 10 minutes till, and I have finished book number 3, which was Snow Falling. I started listening to it as an audiobook and then decided that I would switch to reading it physically because I was finding myself not actually listening while reading, so I was struggling a little bit. So we switched formats a little. Granted, I was kind of skimming by the end of it because this is essentially a fictionalized version of 2 episodes from Jane the Virgin, and I already know what happens, like, in the entire show. I watched the show, like, I loved it, so I didn't feel too bad about skimming. And it's 1 a.m. We're in our last reading sprint together. I told Amanda, I was like, as soon as I finish this book, I'm going to bed. So I'll be losing out on 5 hours of the 24 hours, but considering the fact that I read for 19 hours, or at least attempted to read while doing other things, 3 books in a 24-hour period is solid. So I'm going to close this part out now, and I'll do a final recap tomorrow morning with all of the numbers and pages and blah 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 blah. This was a ton of fun, but also I do not know how Amanda is staying up until 1 her time. I don't know how she did it. I don't know how people actually stay up for 24 hours, because like I physically just I don't have the resilience to just keep staying up. There's no reason for me to be awake right now. So with that, I say goodnight. I'm gonna close things out with Amanda here in a couple minutes, and then I'm gonna go to sleep. Good morning, friends. We have since recovered from the 24 hours of reading. California has officially lost its mind and is now gloomy, but let's go ahead and wrap all this up. As you can tell, I am still quite tired. Reading for 24 hours straight is no joke, and I think the last time I did this was in like 2019, maybe 2020, where like I had nothing else to do but read. And at the time, it made sense. However, realizing that I am now 24 and my body does not work the same, I'm feeling a little rough. But it's fine. It's fine. We're gonna have a good day. I slept from 1 a.m. to like 9 a.m. So I still slept for like a good 8 hours, and I wanted to make sure that I like got my 8 hours of sleep because I would not be able to function the rest of today. So all in all, like, would I do this again? No. But was it fun? Yes. So let's recap everything. I read and listened to 3 books in the 24-hour period, starting with If I'm Being Honest by Emily Wibberley and Austin Sigmund Broca. This was fun. This was a lot of fun. It's super YA. I gave it like a 3.75, almost 4 star. Not the genre for me, but that's okay. You know, it was cool. It was fun. It was hopeful, if you will. The next book I read is The Next Person You Meet in Heaven by Mitch Albom. This was like a 200-page book all about the afterlife. It is the sequel to The 5 People You Meet in Heaven. And the concept here is when you die, you meet these 5 people that have impacted your life in some way, shape, or form. And they each have a lesson to teach you as you journey into your heaven. It didn't make me cry like I thought it was going to, but there were several moments while I was reading this where I had to pause because it's a tearjerker. And there were a few moments that I annotated and like highlighted, but I will say this book has deckled edges, and I hate deckled edges because the annotations, you can never see them. They're never even, whatever. But I love this. It feels like a crime to give it anything less than 5 stars. And if you have not read Mitch Albom's Tuesdays with Morrie, The 5 People You Meet in Heaven, and The Next Person You Meet in Heaven, I highly recommend, as these are books that have left a lifelong impression on me. Whether or not you have certain beliefs as to what heaven is, specific philosophical thoughts, like regardless, like this book just kind of encapsulates those heavy hitting topics really well, and I love it. And the final book that I both listened to and read was Snow Falling by Jane Gloriana Villanueva, who is the character in Jane the Virgin. This was fun, very dramatic, a fictional retelling of Jane's life slash kind of real retelling of Jane's life. There's a lot of moments that are real, that are pulled from this, that are pulled directly from the show, and this is inspired by the show, so it all makes sense. All in all, this was a fun experience. I don't remember what I rated this. All I know is that it was fun and I enjoyed it. And if you haven't watched Jane the Virgin, watch Jane the Virgin and listen to oh my gosh, that's what I wanted to mention. The audiobook is narrated by the Latin lover narrative, who is the voiceover actor in Jane the Virgin, and then the rest of the text is read by Abuela, who is in the show. So good hearing them be the ones to read this. So in total, I listened to 14 hours of audio and read 818 pages across all 3 books. When I do mixed format books like this, I know it's a little bit tough to kind of figure out like what's pages read, what's audiobook listened or audiobook hours listened to, but in total 14 hours of audiobook and 800 pages in one 24-hour period is insane. You guys saw last month I read nearly 1,000 pages. Last month I read over 1,000 pages. This weekend I read nearly the same amount. When you think about, like, that's insane. That is absolutely wild. However, I will not be doing any reading today on Sunday. I have no time. I am a busy girl. It is. We're gonna make Sunday a good day. I also have to pick my next reads for the rest of the month. I hope this 24-hour readathon does not put me in a slump. So we'll see. I'll keep you guys updated at the end of April. And with all of that madness, thank you so much for watching today's video. If you enjoyed, please make sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. And until then, I will catch you in the next one.